Good morning. It's Monday, 31st of August. I have felt that I need to continually keep investigating into what's happening in the world, keep asking my guides what is right, what is wrong, what information am I being fed that feels like it's right for me, what is not ringing true. You can use your instinct, you read something and you think, oh yeah, that sounds right, or that may not be right. The reason I keep wanting to investigate in this is because of those predictions that were given to me last year, and so many of them have already unfolded, like the things being washed up on the beach and the train derailment, and gold was mentioned. So many things that were shown to me in the prediction have actually already transpired, and even I remember saying something would be happening in Berlin, and yesterday I saw that 30,000, I think it was 30,000 people marched in protest in Berlin to stand up to their government. The intention was they were going to stand at their government until their government stood down, because the only way people have power back again is to stand up against their governments to bring them down. So I think we'll be hearing a little bit more out of Berlin. And also that I saw France as well. So maybe it'll be Berlin that takes the first steps to bringing down their government, and it may be followed by France, and we'll go from there. I have heard from people that I've been watching and hearing what they're saying that also Iraq, we should be starting to see some changes in Iraq. And certain countries will start to show what they're doing, and then others will follow. I felt like Australia was maybe more next year, like March next year, although we're going to be seeing over the next 5 months a lot of changes around the world. Australia feels to be a little bit after a lot of the other countries. So, and also want to just update on what I was talking about with GESARA and NESARA, which is the new quantum banking system, economic system that I feel will be coming in, because I've been saying since 2015 that money will not be the same in the future as it has been in the past. And when I first started saying it, people were saying to me, "Can't happen. It just won't happen, Vicky. It's not." That just cannot happen. It was absolutely impossible for them to get their head around it. But the more you go into this system and you read how it can work, it is absolutely brilliant. It would be so good for every living person. So I did mention that I had heard that each person would be getting $1 million and having no debt. And as I've further investigated, that was what was being said at the beginning. Where I believe now the money that is coming from that will be put into your quantum bank account will be all the taxation that you've paid will be refunded to you, because it's been illegally taken from you. They're returning to, they're returning to common law. So under the law, it is illegal to tax people and to take away take away taxation from their wages like they have been. So the way what I've read and what I'm trying to understand and try and work out in my own mind is, I believe we will have your normal bank account that you have now, and there will be a quantum bank account set up in your name. Whether we have to do that ourselves, whether we have to set it up ourselves, or whether it is going to be set up for us, I don't know the answer to that. And then I believe it'll be up to us as individuals to transfer the money, any savings that you have from the old system, from your old bank, and move it into the new system. That would also explain why in my predictions I saw that banks would be closing in the future. So there wouldn't be, in Australia, there wouldn't be like the Commonwealth, the ANZ, the Westpac, the National Bank. There would just be one, like the Bank of Australia, say. There'd be this one bank, so they'll still need branches around So people that are working in banks now could still have jobs in the future, but they would just be working in this different banking system. And you're still going to have to access cash. So they would still need to have some sort of business set up where people can access their records and ask questions and transfer it over from one account to the next account. So I believe that we will have all our taxation that we've ever paid refunded to us. Don't know how. I have read that people over the age of 60 are going to be very, very well looked after. Whether they have a regular pension still paid to them. I also was told that women who don't want to work and want to stay home with their children will be paid to do that. So that'll be, because it is a job, isn't it? Hey, mums, it's a very, very busy job. So if you're paid to stay home with your children like it is a job, that would also tie in with the visions that I had, that I felt like there was going to be so many more jobs available in the future. So that would free up a lot of jobs if mums did not have to work and they could stay home, or dads, if they chose to stay home with their children while they were growing up. It frees up a lot of jobs available to other people. Also, with the new systems coming in, there will be new jobs have to be created to deal with the new system. So with the housing market, when I mentioned it was going to drop between 50 to 80%, that's not fact. That was just what I've heard, and that everyone would be able to afford a home. Because there's no mortgages in the future, the way it would happen is you deal directly with the owner of the house. So in my example, I rent this house that I live in. So if I want to buy this house, I would deal directly with the owner of this home. So there is going to be like a lawyer or legal service that will draw up papers to make sure it's all legal. So I've come to an agreement. We come to an agreement of price. I will pay him directly. Now I can either pay him, if I have the money, I can pay him all the money that we agree on, or he could agree to receive payments from me like a loan, and he can charge me interest. So I can pay. So I won't be going through a bank to get a loan to pay the owner. I will be paying the owner in a loan. It'll be direct to direct, which makes me wonder, how is that going to affect real estate agents in the future? Maybe they can still advertise a house for you, or are we going to be advertising our own homes? Or maybe the agents are still needed to filter out buyers. And how will it affect conveyances in the future? Like, are we even going to need those middle people? Because, you sell a house and there is the real estate agent takes their cut, the conveyancer takes their cut, the bank's taking their cut, everyone's taking a cut, the government takes their stamp duty, everyone takes a cut out of the sale of your home. It will eliminate a lot of that, won't it? And it's like when you go buy a car, you say to someone, look, I want to pay $10,000 for your car, and between the two of you, you come to an agreement and you pay them cash or you pay them through the bank. And there's no middleman, unless there's the stamp duty for the registration, but there's no middle people coming in and taking bits and pieces off the sale. So I think a lot of that's going to be eliminated with the real estate. So, so going back to, I believe we'll have a quantum account set up and we'll have our bank account, and it'll be up to us to transfer the money over to the new system. And it is all going to take quite a long time, which ties into my predictions that the guides were showing me between 2020 and 2025 before we have everything set up, which would make a lot of sense because this is going to take a long time. If there's people being placed in a position where they have to go through our records, go through the records of our taxation and what we've paid to the government over the years, and they have to work it out to be able to refund it to us. So this will be positions that have to be created, and people need to be trained in this work to be able to give it back to us. So a lot of what my guides have shown me is now starting to make sense. You know, when they give me a vision, and at the time I'm like, well, how can that actually work? But now that I'm getting more information from guides, getting more information from what I'm reading, what's been published already, it's really starting to make sense. So if any of you have any feedback, if any of you have had any visions yourself on where you feel this is going, I would love to hear it. I'm going to keep investigating. I feel like a sponge at the moment. I cannot get enough information. My guides are leading me to exactly the right people that have, I'll get a question in my mind, or how's that going to work? And the next minute I've got a lead to somebody who's answering that question for me. So, and it's all tying in together. So as of tomorrow, with the 1st of September, that's when I felt like you would start to notice money transfers going very, very quickly from overseas back here. There is a couple of questions I've actually asked a few people if they'll do an interview with me, because there's a few things I'd like to clear up that I don't understand. I don't understand why the banks don't know about this. If it's going to affect them in such a big way, why do they not know? Like if they know that their branches are closing and they know staff, they're not having tellers anymore, if they know that, are they not questioning why? Or if they just thought maybe due to COVID, that's why it's happening? Are they thinking down a different path? And I've heard so many conspiracy theories around COVID, and it's very hard to understand. See, in my mind, I personally do not know anybody that has had COVID, and I don't know anybody that knows anybody that's had COVID. Like with the 6 degrees of separation, I don't know anybody. But I have seen people on TV that have been interviewed that have said that their relative has it. So, and I know that they are just normal people. They've got no agenda to lie. So I do believe that their relatives are sick, and I know people are dying from this virus. So I do believe the virus does exist. But to the extent of closing everything down, that's where I start questioning, because the flu kills people, and we don't shut things down for the flu. So there is, if you want to get more information, there's a guy called Charlie Ward. If you YouTube him, he's done a lot of videos on this. He was saying that was it the World Health Organization, or I don't know, he said it was downgraded to a common cold. COVID, it's down if you look up medical records. But then I start thinking, well, doctors and nurses they have no reason to lie to us. If they believe this is a very dangerous pandemic, they wouldn't, or have they just been caught up in all the hype of it all? So I really don't know. That side of it is like, I have a lot of questions. I would love to sit down and talk to doctors and nurses about what they actually believe themselves. And if you're a nurse watching this, I'd love to see what do you believe is the truth around this virus? Because my theory is that to bring in this new economic system, they couldn't just bring in a system and just say, okay, we've just changed the whole economic system. There had to be a reason to bring it in. So if they collapse the economy first, that's a really good reason to bring in a new economy, isn't it? Because at the moment, if someone says to you, there's a whole new economic system coming in that's going to be more beneficial to you, you're in a place where you are probably broke at the moment. You're probably struggling and worrying about money, and you're going to say, yes, let's bring it in because we need some change. If they had bring this in 2 years ago and there was no reason to bring it in and they all just said, oh, we're just going to bring in this whole new system, would you have been in the mindset to accept it? So that's sort of how, along the lines of how I've been thinking about it. It's also interesting. I'd love to hear your comments on, and if you've had any visions yourself, what you feel is unfolding. I feel like September, there's a hell of a lot more coming out in September. I did, the guides told me we would go through these stages of the hibernation stage, and we would go through the truth stage. We are so much into the truth stage at the moment. The truth that's coming out in so many areas is unbelievable. And then we will go through the grief stage. And it still bothers me a little bit that so many people, there's a lot of awake people. There's a lot, but there's a lot of asleep people. They're just going about their lives and it's all about their little backyard. And I feel like I know that about 5,000 people see my videos. So that's 5,000 people that maybe I'm just opening up their minds a little bit more so they can investigate themselves. Because you can't be told what to do. You need to go and have a look yourself, read things, educate yourself, and then spread it. Have discussions in your family. Let everybody know. Just for the fact that I feel so compassionate and sad for people that are going to be shocked when everything changes and they're not prepared. They're not mentally prepared for it, and that's where I feel like it's our duty to support each other, comfort each other, keep talking to each other about this, keep it alive. I know some of the subjects that are going to come up are really hard to deal with, and if you're not mentally capable of dealing with them, that's fine, but have the support around you. Have people to talk to. Because I'm here, my messenger's open. I am a very, very busy person, but if you send me a message, I usually get back to you and can help you wherever I can. So have a lovely day. I will try to keep up with the facts that I'm learning and keep going with what my guides are showing me, and we'll see where this is heading.